Hello and welcome to Record Sports Hotline Live. My name is Daniel Caw and I'm delighted to be joined tonight by Record Sports Scott McDermott and the one and only Gregory Vignal. Gregory, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Good evening.
With everything going on with Rangers, we think you're the perfect man to give us your opinion on some of the goings on.
Perfect man, I don't know, but I can maybe give you my visions. Yeah, of course, it's without a doubt.
Scott, how are you doing?
Good, Daniel, yourself?
I'm good, thanks. We saw a lot of each other yesterday.
Yeah,
on a double bill of the hotline.
I know. I feel as if I've been talking about Rangers non-stop for 24 hours. I'm not sure I went to bed last night.
I know, that's true. Well, look, Rangers is the only place for us to start, really. I might as well start with yourself, Gregory. Did you see the game last night? What did you make of it? First of all, just as a game.
Yes, of course. First and foremost, of course, I watched the game. I think it was a good game. Credit to Aberdeen, because I think not only from yesterday, but since the beginning of the season, the discipline is amazing. The way they played, the commitment, the desire, they are doing really well. After my point of view from Rangers, I think, of course, it's disappointed because this is the first time, because I've never seen that since I play for Rangers. So sad situation. I think now it's an important one. But after the game yesterday, yes, of course, I said there's something wrong somewhere.
Yeah. And looking back from your time, Gregory, at Rangers, I mean, being 9 points behind Celtic at this point of the season would be unacceptable. But 9 points behind Aberdeen as well, it's unprecedented.
Of course, it's unacceptable because you must be honest, with yourself, with the club, with the fans, with the board and the chairman, everybody. Because I remember my time. I think we drew the first away game against Aberdeen, and it looks like on the newspaper the next day the title was already over after one game.
That was Scott. Scott wrote that, I think.
So that shows the pressure.
Yeah.
But now, end of November, 9 points beyond Celtic, but beyond Aberdeen as well. It's unacceptable.
Gregory, see to get out of this situation on 9 points behind already, Rangers will need big characters, big personalities, leaders in the dressing room. I know it's difficult being on the outside, but when you look at that squad, do you see enough leaders, big characters there to get them out of this trouble?
Do you remember, Scott? We've done an article 2 months ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And you asked me the same question, and I told you I can't see any leader in this team at this moment.
No.
We are talking about winning mentality, winning games, week in and week out. To be an example, how to lead, when you're on a pitch, to show your character. And at this moment, could you give me a name? I don't have any name in my mind, and I am honest. And it's sad to say this type of thing because I love the club. I mean, it's an institution. When we are talking about Rangers Football Club, during my time, I had players around me, like Fernando Rickson, Barry Ferguson, Dado Pershaw, Peter Lovenkrands, Alan Newton, Jean Mbumsong. I mean, properly there, and we were fighting, all together to win game. And the manager was direct with us. He said, I remember one day he said to me and to the team, he was using bad word, I can't say it in front of you tonight. It was really simple. He said, if you don't want to run, if you don't want to win, to play for me, just stay home. Go with your wife, doing shopping, but don't come to, in this place. And I think Markish was right.
Yeah. I'm right in saying, I think, Gregory, that it was just the one season you had at Rangers, but it was one season that yielded, of course, a Premier League title, a League Cup double. When you listed off a few of the players that you played alongside there, it's night and day from the current Rangers team. It's unrecognisable.
Yeah, but I think that's a mentality. When we are talking about recruitment, about the way you prepare the team, the squad, I think it's an important job. It's in the vision, the way you want to play. The fan, they just want to win title. They don't care about if you're happy or unhappy. They pay money, and they just want to win. And because of the magnitude of this football club, and if you can handle this pressure, don't come. It's just simple as that. That I mean, sometimes you repeat. I repeat because it's my experience. But when I came from Liverpool, the first time I met Alec McLeish in the canteen upstairs at the training ground, he said, before to give me my coffee, he said to me, "Are you ready to win? Otherwise, you're not drinking your coffee. You go back to the hotel." I said, "Boss, don't worry. Give me my coffee, and then we will be champion." But that's a proper message, straight away. And so that's why I think it's I think now it's a sad situation where we are as a club, as a family, because I think it's important to stay strong together. But after I'm not the manager, you are not the manager. So after the pressure now is on the manager, on Philippe Clement. I tried, to text him 2 or 3 times, to wish him good luck and to help him. But at the end, now it needs to come from him and the players. But when you are the man, you are the man.
Gregory, we ask for fan comments and messages to come in on the Hotline Live. So plenty of fans watching at home have been sending in messages, which we really appreciate. I'm going to run through a few of them now for both you guys, just to get a flavour of how the Rangers fans are feeling, although I'm sure we already have an idea. Drew McMaster, Clement has to go. He's turned Rangers into a laughing stock. Performances have been dreadful. You turn up fearing the worst. Still waiting on a style of play to emerge a year in. William Brennan, could last night be the final toenail in Big Phil's coffin? And Stephen Mulhern, that was an unbelievable comment from Philippe Clement come out with, saying that it was one of their best performances of the season. The reality is his job is now hanging by a toenail. Like, the on-pitch stuff, Scott, is one thing, but see when managers start in press conferences saying stuff like that, the toenail thing, it was one of our better performances. Fans aren't daft. Fans will see through that right away.
No, I mean, we spoke about this, Daniel, a couple of weeks ago in terms of some of Philippe Clement's press conferences, and we feared that when managers start to get down that route of looking for excuses, then that it only really ends one way. And I must admit, I mean, I sat watching the game on TV last night, and I was flabbergasted by the post-match comments. I mean, for any Rangers manager to come out after a defeat at Pittodrie and say, "No, well, if we'd have got that offside goal, we might have got a draw out of it," as if a draw would be good enough at any time, never mind in these circumstances. To say it was one of the best performances of the season. Listen, the first 20 minutes of the second half might actually have been one of their better performances this season, but all that does is tell you how bad the displays have been this season up until now. But those comments just won't wash with Rangers fans. If anything, it'll make them even angrier. And I think it was unwise. I think post-match last night, Philippe Clement would have done well to come out and basically say it was unacceptable, how much they were hurting, how disappointed they were, and how they're going to have a major fight to try and somehow get back into this title race, somehow claw Aberdeen back. And obviously they've got a cup semi-final on Sunday that they now, well, they had to win anyway, but they must win that game now. But to come away with some of the comments was just baffling. And we know it's getting towards breaking point with the manager, and I don't think those kind of comments are going to help his cause at all.
Gregory, we mentioned a moment ago recruitment and the players that you played alongside and the players that are at Rangers now. And I think a lot of Rangers fans, kind of think the recruitment has been poor, it's been substandard. But, I want to get your take on this. As I was watching the game last night and I went through the players almost one by one, there's a lot of good players there. Like Barami scored that goal last night. It was a great goal. We know that Czerny is capable of that. Butland's a really good goalkeeper. I like Nassim Viro, I think, looks really good. that made me worry for Clement even more, because then it makes you think, well, is it a coaching thing?
Do you prefer to get good players on the field or winners on the field? That's why, when I'm talking about the way you build your squad, the way you want to show your style of play, your vision, and the clarification of each role for each player. It's part of the manager job, the staff, the recruitment. But sometimes you might need more winners because they will be there. And if you are a good player, a really good player, you will play for Real Madrid. So that's the difference. But I think I would prefer to get winners in my team, leaders in my team at the moment, because you need that. After, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they are working hard, but it's not enough at the moment. And I think the fans are maybe fed up about the way we are playing, the gap gets bigger and bigger between us and Celtic. So and most of we are not daft. 9 points, the title is already over. Mm-hmm. It will be so difficult to catch Celtic. So it's a long way to go. But I was listening Chris Boyd yesterday as well, on Sky Sports, and he was right. He said a lot of things, but he was right.
Yeah.
Daniel, you're talking about recruitment. I mean, Philippe Clement has made a big thing of talking about this massive Rangers rebuild over the summer. But, and Chris Boyd touched on this last night on TV, the starting 11 only had 3 new players in it last night. Aberdeen's starting 11 had 4 new players. So,
with £2 million.
Exactly.
They used £2 million to build the team
on a much smaller budget, and ultimately Philippe Clement is now having to turn to players who were already in the building. I mean, Leon Balogun's now he's a first pick centre back. He was signed as a stopgap at the start of this season. You look at the guys at the back: Butland, Tavernier, Suter. They were all there when Clement arrived. Raskin, who he's now had to turn to, despite looking as if he was out the picture, was there before he arrived, as was Tom Lawrence. Dessers was there before he arrived. He's even having to call on Yanis Hadji, who was so far out the picture, you didn't think he was going to play again. And now it looks as if he's going to have to come back into the squad. So this talk about this massive rebuild and this integration of young players into the team, it doesn't wash. Similar to his post-match comments, fans just won't buy it. And listen to some of his decisions as well. Last night, playing Casemiro at left back instead of Yefte, who's been one of the better players this season, just didn't work at all.
I thought taking Barami off as well, Scott, was really bizarre, really weird.
That was another baffling one. I mean, the guy just scores a goal, gets you back in the game, was looking dangerous, and you take him off. And I felt as if the subs that came on last night didn't offer too much. When Rangers really needed them. We spoke last night, and Gregory will back me up in this. When Rangers or Celtic are behind in a game to any Scottish team, you expect the last 15-20 minutes to be under siege, because Rangers or Celtic are pushing you back, pushing so hard to get that equaliser or that winner. That just didn't happen. Rangers don't have enough about them at the moment to muster that. And Gregory said something earlier on about Alec McLeish talking about, if you don't want to run for me, you don't want to work. See, if you strip everything back, and we can talk all day about tactics and the manager and recruitment and everything else. I've said for a couple of years now, I don't think this Rangers team works hard enough. I don't think there's enough urgency about them. I don't think there's enough hunger about them. I don't think there's enough tempo and intensity, especially in Scottish games. And it's cost them. And it cost them again last night, because they started the game very lethargic, very laboured. They've done it in a lot of games. I thought Aberdeen worked harder, won more second balls, won more duels. That's unacceptable for a Rangers team going to Pittodrie. And listen, and that's me trying to give the manager a wee bit of slack, because for me, that comes down to players' individual attitudes, individual hunger, determination, ambition, whatever you want to call it. I don't think that's been there with Rangers for a couple of seasons now.
Mm-hmm. I need to hit you with this, Scott, before we go any further, because last night's show, Robert, watching on YouTube, you can chime in this as well, obviously, Gregory, if you have an opinion, but Robert said, I said last night, and I will say it again, no Rangers players would get in the Don's side. The scoreline flattered Rangers. You called that nonsense last night, Scott.
I did.
But will you revise your opinion 24 hours later?
Listen, what kind of man I would be if I backed down? I need to back up my opinion, Daniel. Look, Aberdeen have been brilliant. Gregory touched on it earlier on. Full credit to them. People questioned them, probably including myself, with the run they had at the start of the season. They had a lot of winnable games, especially at home, and you thought, when they get a real test, they're going to stumble. But they've been to Celtic Park and got a draw that they deserved. They've now beaten Rangers at Pittodrie. They'll get another test on Saturday against Celtic in a semi-final at Hampden. But they've been remarkable. The job Jimmy Tilleen has done so far has been incredible. But the big caveat is it is only 10 games and it is still early. Now, at the moment, does it look as if they're going to stumble and start dropping points? Not particularly, but you have to think with that squad that eventually they'll come a cropper, and every team, even Celtic last season winning the league had a sticky patch, where obviously Rangers managed to get back into the title race. So you would imagine Aberdeen will have a tough time at some point, and it's obviously how they deal with that will determine where they finish the season. But no, listen, some of the Aberdeen players, have been really impressive. Yankee Keskinen, a Finnish international. The boy Malloy at the back, who they've plucked for Irish football, was excellent again last night. So players have surprised us all. And listen, probably if they keep this going by the end of the season, one or two, maybe more than that, Aberdeen players probably would get into the Rangers team if things keep going the way they are. But I think some people are getting just a wee bit carried away quite early.
There you go, Robert. There's your response. Gregory, let me throw this one at you. This one has come in from Jamie Thompson watching on Facebook. He says, how much longer are the Rangers board going to allow Clement to humiliate and embarrass this club? Rangers supporters have been through hell for the last 10 years. If Clement had any decency, he'd rip up his contract and leave. Now, basically what I want to know from you, Gregory, is that have you ever seen an Old Firm manager in a situation like this and recover? Because I can't think of another manager who's came back from such a low moment.
Well, it's not an easy situation for him, and tonight we are talking about the situation, the manager situation, and it's not a lack of respect. It's just because we love so much the club and we want to see how they can improve and to close the gap. But at this moment, it's under massive pressure. The board will be under pressure as well because of the demand from the fan. But it will be, I think, difficult for him. There is a big game on Sunday. There is a massive one on Thursday and another one before the next international break. So are you strong enough to survive? That's the big question marker. What will happen in 10 days' time? Who knows? But it's under massive pressure for sure. So it'll be interesting to see the reaction first from the players. But I'm worried for him because I am a manager, so I know when you are in a difficult situation, and you are under pressure, you are not living your best life. Even for the people who are around you, the family, the kids, wife, it's difficult. But like I always said, when you said yes and you put your signature on a Rangers contract as a manager to be the manager, you can complain. You know it will be a tough job. You know the situation before to sign. You are aware about everything behind the scene. If you accept to be the Rangers manager, just crack on because after it's your responsibility. So it would be the next 10 days would be, I think, really intense.
I think, Daniel, I said last night, I think you agreed with me that no, the Rangers board, they will be so determined not to sack Philippe Clement. I mean, they gave him a new contract. They put real belief in this guy. They backed him, obviously in the summer transfer window, albeit with reduced funds. But I think they genuinely believed, and maybe still believe, that he is the right guy to take Rangers forward. However, I mean, I was looking today. Michael Beale got the sack in October last year, and he got the sack for going 7 points behind Celtic in the league. Ironically, after defeats to Aberdeen, Celtic and Kilmarnock, which has happened again. And I just looked at the Rangers board statement when Beale got sacked, and it basically said it had to go because results had fallen well below the expectations of the board and the supporters. So they're in an even worse situation now. So does that mean Clement is done? Is he a dead man walking? Or is it simply that expectations have now got so low that at Rangers, because of the reduced budget and everything that's going on off the pitch, have expectations now got so low that they put their faith in this guy and they need to stick by him? That's why, as Gregory said, it's going to be so interesting the next week. Motherwell in a cup semi, Olympiacos away in the Europa League, and then I think it's Hearts at Ibrox the following game, which is a tough game as well. So they've got a real dilemma on their hands now because the pressure's building, fans are getting angrier. Sunday's going to be fascinating because I think Motherwell will cause them a few problems in Sunday. I mentioned that last night. And if the result doesn't go their way on Sunday and suddenly they're out of a cup, the first available trophy of the season, that breaking point that I'm talking to, we might have reached it come Sunday night.
Well, I wanted to ask you that, Gregory. I mean, sorry, go on.
No, I just say now, the situation is so worse. We are worried about Motherwell. We have all the respect
Exactly.
we've got for the club. I mean, Rangers Football Club cannot be worried about, because this is why when I'm saying the situation it's bad and it's an important one because everybody have to react. I can't believe we are talking like this. And I'm just living, around the corner, 10 minutes away from the training ground. But when I heard, when we are talking like this, Scott, I said, no, it's impossible.
But Gregory, I agree with you, but the league table shows Rangers just 3 points ahead of Motherwell. I mean, that is incredible after 10 games. If you'd have said to Rangers fans at the start of the season, come the end of October, after 10 games, you'll be 3 points ahead of Motherwell, I mean, it would have just been laughable. But you're right, that's the situation they find themselves in. The fact they're getting into a semi-final against Motherwell, wondering what kind of performance they're going to put on, worried that they're going to they're not going to get a result and not going to reach the final. And by the way, if they do get to the final, I notice Aberdeen, the bookmakers have now got Aberdeen as favourites for second in the Premiership now, ahead of Rangers. If Rangers do get to the final against Celtic or Aberdeen, they'll be massive underdogs getting into a League Cup final. When is that ever the case? No, normally Rangers get into a final, they'll either be favourites, or if it's an Old Firm game, it'll be 50-50. If they get to the final, whether it's against Celtic or Aberdeen, Rangers are pretty much going as underdogs, which is just unheard of.
Gregory, do you think, I know you'll be hoping that Rangers win against Motherwell at the weekend, but that's your heart. With your head, do you think they will win?
They have to win. I mean, there is no question about that. Why we are asking the question tonight? They have to win. I mean, they are Rangers Football Club. I remember we played during my time. We played Motherwell in the final, and before the game, everybody in the dressing room was sure we will win this game because of our capacity, our winning mentality. I mean, it's crazy to think like this because we are not talking about Liverpool or Manchester City, and I've got a lot of respect for all this football club. I mean, Motherwell, they are working really hard. It's a good Scottish football club,
Yeah.
but come on, right now Glasgow Rangers Football Club should be higher.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm worried, to be honest with you, because I think Motherwell will start front foot. The player will be buzzing, to play the semi-final at Hampden Park. There will be a massive game for them. So it won't be an easy game. For sure, it won't be an easy game. After, it's all about, it needs to come from the players.
Yeah.
I don't know what will happen with the fans because you never know. But the situation it's that's why I don't understand why sometimes they're not asking ex-player like us to come around to help this football club and it's mad to see when I see Barry or myself we are just around the corner and we are watching all the games and it's mad when you see the situation just to help. Come on guys, we are a family and
Yeah.
it's but it won't be an easy one for sure. It won't be an easy one.
Gregory, we've loved having you on the Hotline Live tonight. We really appreciate you giving us your time. But before I let you go, I wanted to ask you what the kind of future holds for you. You mentioned that you're a coach now, that you still live in Scotland. I mean, can we see you in a Scottish dugout perhaps sometime soon?
But look, last year I was managing in Paris, Championship, Versailles Football Club. So as a manager, I passed my pro license. So now I'm coaching for the last 10 years. Everything is done, passed, ready. It was a massive job last year with massive pressure because in Paris, But I'm traveling I will give you maybe a scoop. I'm traveling to London on Saturday. I've got a meeting with one championship club in London. So we'll see. But of course, I love Rangers. If like I said, if I can help the club, I had a meeting with them end of June. I went to the training ground to speak about the vision, the methodology, and where we can be, maybe supporting the club to help the club. But after, it's up to them. It's up to the chairman they know us. They know where we are. But yeah, I'm looking for now a new challenge and. Who knows?
Who knows? Gregory, again, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. We've taken up too much of your time already, but thank you very much.
Okay, take care, guys. See you soon and good luck.
Cheers, Gregory. Speak soon.
Cheers, Gregory.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Gregory Vignal there, what a nice man, Scott, and it was great of him to come on. Really nice guy.
Brilliant. Great insight, even to his time at Rangers.
Talks really well too.
He does, talks really well. You can see, I mean, for a Frenchman, he's got a real passion for Rangers. You see, I mean, he only had one season as a player on loan, but it just shows you when you get that wee bit of success at a club like Rangers, you get the bug, and it clearly, the whole place, the whole club clearly got under his skin. He still lives in Scotland, still cares about what happens at the club. So, no, I thought he spoke really well.
Obviously, we know that the big story is Rangers and Clement and Aberdeen. But one other kind of eye-catching result last night was Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 2 at Tynecastle, an amazing result for Kelly. And of course, Derek McInnes, I would suggest, will be one of the names put forward if Philippe Clement does leave Rangers sometime soon.
Yeah, I think he's Bookie's favourite just now, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I seen that today. Listen, I think he would be quite rightly the front runner for the Rangers job if it comes up. And to be honest, I think he should have been a front runner when Philippe Clement get the job. And I know a lot of Rangers fans will be against that. They won't agree with it. They will say that Derek McInnes turned Rangers down in a previous life when he could have been manager.
Well, that's the thing, Scott. Do you think he would take it now?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Really?
Aye, of course he would. Of course he would. I don't think he turned that job down twice. I think there was mitigating factors back when he did turn it down. Rangers were in a kind of different place as a club. And I know times are tough at Ibrox just now, but no, I think you would need to get him out of Kilmarnock, obviously. But if that job comes up and he's offered it, I'd be pretty sure he would be at Ibrox. And as I say, listen, a lot of punters might not agree. It's only an opinion. There'll be loads of names in the frame. You looked at some of the names today being mentioned. Obviously, Frank Lampard comes back up into the equation.
Even Steven Gerrard.
Steven Gerrard, of course, his future looks a wee bit uncertain in Saudi Arabia. There'll be loads of foreign managers. I mean, people will be looking at Jimmy Tillin coming in at Aberdeen from Swedish football and the impact that he's had. So people will want Rangers to go down that road. Listen, it's only an opinion. I just think where Rangers are as a club at the moment, and it's still a big if, and you don't want to be disrespectful with Philippe Clement. Philippe Clement's a top manager, by the way. This guy's won titles in Bruges and managed Monaco and all that, so he's not become a bad manager overnight. Things are going against him at the minute. Mm-hmm. It's not working at Rangers, so he finds himself in a difficult situation. If it gets to that breaking point that we speak about, and he does go, I think where Rangers are at the moment, they would need someone like a Derek McInnes to come in. This is a guy that's used to working with a restricted budget. He's used to managing teams who regularly punch above their weight. He knows the landscape, he knows the club, he knows the players, he knows the demands, he knows the expectations. You think where Rangers are financially, where they are in the league currently, McInnes for me would be a shoe-in for that job if it comes up.
It's funny, Scott, because I think you're spot on in everything you say. I don't see anyone could argue with it, but on Record Sports social media channels, particularly on Facebook, we put out a post earlier today. It was Derek McInnes with the bat signal behind him, just kind of seeing what fans thought of it. The kickback from Rangers fans was really noticeable. I mean, Andrew McCafferty here, Clement has lost the plot, but if McInnes is appointed, I'm done. And it's really weird. I think a lot of Rangers fans are still kind of a bit hurt maybe by the fact he turned them down 5 or 6 years ago.
I think so. I think there's two elements to it. Well, maybe three elements. I think they are hurt by the fact that he had the audacity to turn them down back in the day. I think the other thing is just people would see it as almost as a kind of lazy appointment. Just to go for a Scottish, a Scottish manager at a provincial club. I think people would like to see the net widened, and as I say, there's a lot of young foreign, progressive coaches out there that I can see why a lot of punters would, they'd want to explore that. Listen, I get all the arguments. As I say, it's just purely an opinion. The other thing is style of play. Derek McInnes gets that thrown at him a lot. People think his style of play is quite basic, quite kind of rudimentary. So I don't necessarily buy that myself. I think he's a proper coach and a proper manager who's done pretty much an incredible job at every club he's been at.
And plus surely you maybe want a manager right now, Scott, that can make you hard to beat. That maybe isn't.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think if Clement was to go, he's exactly what Rangers would need. But what you're saying there about the fans doesn't surprise me. And listen, that might be a reason why it doesn't happen. It might be a reason why it never happens. If the board feel that kickback that you're talking about, maybe they'd be reluctant to go and try and get Derek McInnes. But I think that would be foolish. The answer to their problems, should they decide Clement isn't the guy to take them forward, could be on their doorstep. And to ignore that, I think would be a mistake. Listen, he should certainly be in the running. Whether he would get it or no, I don't know. But when you're talking about front runners or potential candidates, Derek McInnes has to be in there. I mean, of course he does. If you don't think that, then you're living in cloud cuckoo land.
Your comments, Scott, about Rangers players and Aberdeen players getting into whose team has definitely caught a bit of fire in the comment section. John Stars, 1 or 2 Aberdeen players might get into the Rangers side. You having a laugh? Get your blue tinted glasses off.
Listen, if somebody had said at the start of the season, who would you rather have? No, even if you asked an Aberdeen fan, who would you rather have, James Tavernier or Nicky Devlin in the summer? No, what would they have said? Of course they would have picked Tavernier. They'd have picked almost every Rangers player, given how Aberdeen's season went last year, despite obviously picking up towards the end. So listen, the Aberdeen punters, they're getting a wee bit giddy, which is understandable given the start they've made, and fair play to them. No, they should enjoy it because they've been through enough tough times themselves. Will it last? It doesn't look like stopping at the minute, but as I say, it's still early days. 10 games in, a lot of big games to come. Let's see how they get on. No, let's see where they are at the kind of turn of the year, and then we can maybe talk about some Aberdeen players getting into the Rangers team.
I've stitched you up a bit, Scott, with these comments, throwing them at you, but I'll cast your mind back to a week or so ago when there was some unkind comments about my resplendent, beautiful green turtleneck jumper, which will be back on the hotline soon. Scott, I think that more or less brings us to the end of tonight's Hotline Live with Record Sport. We'll be back on Sunday for all of the fallout from the weekend's Premier Cup semi-finals. Before I let you go, Scott, do you think Rangers will be in that final? Do you think they'll get by Motherwell?
I do, actually. I think they'll... Listen, will it be pretty? Will they win by a lot of goals? Probably not. But I think they'll get to the final, Daniel. I think you'll see some kind of reaction, obviously, after the Pittodrie defeat. And ultimately, as I say, I think a couple of the big players will produce something that gets them through, whether that's by Rami like last night or whether Czerny comes back for injury. Look, there's no doubt they're struggling big time. And Motherwell will smell blood. I mean, if you're Stuart Kettlewell, you'll be telling the players, look, you might never have a better chance. There's a real fragility, a real vulnerability about this Rangers team. So, of course, they'll go into it fancying their chances. They had a great result last night. The young Zimbabwean striker that they've got, or winger come striker, has been very impressive since he came in, especially last night. So, I mean, if he plays through the middle again, up against that Rangers kind of central defensive partnership, he'll cause them problems. But ultimately, I think, Rangers with that big crowd at Hampden, semi-final, they're used to being there, they're used to playing in semis and finals, even the last couple of years. I think Rangers will just get through it, and that should at least keep the manager going for a wee while yet. Yeah.
Well, time will tell, and as I say, we will be back on Sunday evening reacting to Motherwell versus Rangers, and of course Aberdeen against Celtic is the Saturday game as well, and we'll react to that as well. Scott, thank you very much for joining us, and a big thanks to Gregory Vignal, our guest tonight, and thank you very much to everyone that sent in comments. As I say, we'll be back on Sunday to do it all again. Cheers, Scott.
Cheers, Daniel.
And thanks for watching at home. Cheers.